Hey, what's up?
What's going on? Welcome to the very first debut episode of Dishing on Movies.
That's right.
We are excited to get it kicked off.
We're pumped. I mean, our two favorite things, movies and good food.
So today our inspiration is going to be The Dark Knight Rises.
And so we're going to be doing an amazing dark chocolate souffle that most people tell me they have a hard time with souffles because it doesn't rise properly.
Come on, let's do it.
Let's do it. The chocolate souffle is going to be very easy. There's only, let me count them, 5 ingredients. There's going to be granulated white sugar, dark chocolate, of course, 6 eggs. We're going to separate the yolks and the whites, and then salt. It couldn't get any simpler. But the secret to a great souffle is in the technique. So let's get to that. First thing we're going to do is we're going to coat these ramekins. So we've got some melted butter here. Ooh!
It's real melted.
Alright. If you don't have margarine or butter at home, you could definitely use oil or some kind of baking spray. We're just really trying to get these wet on the inside.
How much is your recipe today? How many people is it going to feed?
I'm thinking for this recipe, we're going to get 8 of these small 5-ounce ramekins. Essentially, we're going to make one batch of this souffle. You could use this in one of those large, kind of, what is it, like a 8-inch diameter ramekin?
So just enough for me then?
Exactly. It's enough for one. Okay.
I'm hungry.
And now we're just going to coat that with a little sugar. So now what I'm doing is I'm just trying to tap out the extra sugar. And you're going to see that it's coated in the bottom and it's a little gummy. It's fine. So now we're going to chop our chocolates. When making a souffle, there's so few ingredients. You really want to make sure you're using high quality ingredients. So we're not using, generic store-bought chocolate here. We're using a really great dark chocolate. I highly recommend it. You don't want to use milk chocolate.
What did you use?
Well, this is actually Ghirardelli, and it's not Belgian, which is what I typically use. But I gotta tell you, Ghirardelli, it's one of those chocolates that's produced right in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. And it's because it's commercially available, the price is a lot lower. So there are instances where we'll use a Belgian chocolate or European, like a Calbo or whatnot, but this is fine. We're just trying to chop this into pieces because we're going to melt it. Relatively uniform pieces. Again, oops, it's not exact. I don't know if you guys know a lot about chocolate, but there's basically white chocolate all the way down to that unsweetened, nasty chocolate that you probably have seen in the hard bricks. Essentially, a dark chocolate just means that it's more pure cacao, which is where chocolate comes from.
Cacao!
Cacao! Less sugar and really little to no milk. So that's what makes it dark. So it's been 30 seconds. Let's check it out. Alright. So you can see, like I said, the chocolate starts to melt on the sides, but it's still regular old chocolate in the middle.
Oh yeah.
So I like to stir it just to help the melting process. And again, this is going to help us minimize chocolate burning. Not tasty.
Does me eating any of it help the process of melting?
Unfortunately not. So in basically 2 minutes at 50% power, this chocolate, it's nearly melted. If you take a look inside, you'll still see some chocolate solids, but as I stir this, it's going to be all smooth. So now what we're going to do is 2 things. We're going to get 6 eggs cracked and separated. The recipe calls for 3 egg yolks and 6 egg whites.
So what's the trick for separating eggs?
There's actually a couple tricks. First trick is a room temperature egg. A room temperature egg is a lot easier to separate. The egg white is much runnier.
Huh. And it doesn't affect like the health of the egg or anything? It's not?
Well, you don't want these out all day, but these have been sitting out about half an hour.
Okay.
Alright. So basically, here's 1 egg. I like to take your best tool in the kitchen, your hand, and literally scoop that egg yolk up. The yolk literally just falls out, eventually with a little bit of work. You just give it a little jiggle. A little jiggle. There.
There you go.
Look, now we have a perfect yolk. Still intact. The warmer the white, the more fluffy and frothy it gets. I'm going to take these egg yolks and just kind of break them up a little bit. So I'm going to pour a little bit of chocolate into the egg, and that's going to help me increase the temperature of the eggs. way, when I mix it back with the full amount of chocolate, the eggs would curdle. Anyone that makes ice cream, a custard-based ice cream, or custard or curds, this is the technique. Okay. Now that that's mixed up, you may feel it. It's definitely good. We'll go ahead and add this back. You want to make sure you get all of it. Now we're just going to stir this all together. See how it's very shiny? That's what we want. Now it's time to make our essentially meringue. This is what gives that souffle a beautiful body. A beautiful body.
Hello.
Hello. And helps it rise in the oven. What you want to do is take your mixer. Could be hand or stand. You can whisk this by hand if you wanted to, but I don't have the biceps for it. We're going to beat this into a soft peak. Which looks like a softened shaving cream. So here's what I like to check if it's soft peak. Soft peak kind of looks like this. It has a little bit of a peak in the bowl, but it's not really standing up on its own. It's at this stage you want to add our sugar.
I could have beat it by hand, but I didn't feel like it.
You want to beat this until it's stiff peak, which looks like really thick whipped cream. So a stiff peak is this. When you lift the mixer up, and it kind of holds that peak, or it holds the peak right here on the mixer, that is what we're looking for. So this is done. And now it's time to souffle.
Alright.
Chocolate mixture.
Oh.
Just about a third. Doesn't have to be exact, but about a third. And from here, we're just going to stir it up. But here's the difference. Right now, we're stirring. Now we're going to fold. Folding is very different. Just like this. And here's a technique when you fold. You literally take your rubber spatula and fold the chocolate over the whites. And you just keep folding. See how it's more delicate than when we were doing it before?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, like I said, souffles aren't hard. It's just that they require a lot of technique. I wish you guys could smell this. Can you smell it, Dale?
Oh yeah.
It smells so good.
I thought that was you for a minute, but...
Well, I smell chocolate, that is true. But nobody's milk chocolate. Here, so I'm just going to break that up and fold. Hi friends, that is our souffle.
So, how much for everything to make this dark chocolate souffle?
Probably about $5 or $6.
That's great.
The big ticket item here is your dark chocolate. The better the chocolate, the more expensive it will be.
Dunking it in.
Exactly.
How much do you think it costs to make the Dark Knight Rises?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. 100 million? That's too much. I don't know.
$230 million.
Oh my god! Wow, I'm cheap.
Uh-huh.
These little dark nights take about 12 to 15 minutes to cook at a 375-degree oven. Into the oven they go. So you want to see that it rose, and then it has a kind of a crispy, crumbly top. So let's take a look. This is not rising. This is not rising.
What?
This is not rising. I need help.
Did you say help?
You're gonna make it collapse. So you really want to wait until it looks just about right. We're already at 14 minutes and they look pretty good to me. What? So 15 minutes?
How about that?
Woo! It's like backdraft.
Yum.
These souffles are ready to be eaten.
That's where I come in. Thanks for joining us for Dishing on Movies.
See you next week.
Bye.